Hi everyone, I'm back from my excursion to the Guadalupe National Forest, hiking the Guadalupe Peak Trail, which was approximately 8.5 miles round trip, I believe. Seemed like a long hike. I will say this, I haven't torn apart my backpack, taken everything out. When I watched all the YouTube videos or whatnot about the trail, and I watched them going up the trail and the scenery and everything, I kind of was thinking to myself before I left on this trip, it's a hike. How hard can that be? And they told you repeatedly, or they told me repeatedly, or everybody that was watching their videos, that it was strenuous. But let me tell you, it is a strenuous hike. On top of it being above sea level, I mean, you're starting out 5,000 feet above sea level, I believe. You're already not consuming as much oxygen, and your system's probably not used to being at that elevation. That has an impact. So anyways, I found it to be one of the toughest things I've done. I'm really surprised. I'm a little bit, not disappointed, but kind of like I really thought I'd be able to just march on through. I did march on through, but it was more like the tortoise and the hare. I was the hare, constantly taking breaks just to catch my breath. It was something else. At the end, looking back after I recovered a little bit, I'm very glad I did it. I wish I would have stopped more often and taken more videos. I just didn't do that. It was just it was almost work getting up there that I didn't take near as many videos and pictures as I wish I would have. If I had it to do over again, I would have made that more of a priority. I would have changed a few other things too, but it is what it is. Beautiful out there, beautiful. I actually got off the trail once coming down off where the sun was, and that they've been talking about somebody running across a rattlesnake, and since I was off the beaten trail, wow, that was pretty, not only was it, not where I was supposed to be, but I was having to hit all the little shrubs and bushes and whatnot to make sure there wasn't anything hiding in there, because I didn't want to get bit, being a knucklehead and not being where I needed to be, because I was off the beaten trail probably for about 15 to 20 minutes to where I could make it down to where actually the main trail was, and that was pretty interesting doing that. We had not only worried about sliding or misstepping, but having to worry about every little area of coverage that there might be a snake. So anyways, food for thought, stay on the trail. So all right, so here we go. Backpack. First and foremost, and I've said this in my other videos, these bad dads, these walking sticks, whether or not, whatever you get, whether or not you're going to use them or not, it doesn't make a difference. Vital. If this is not the number 2 or number 3 item of importance for going on a trip, I don't know what is. This is this was a lifesaver for me. These were great. As a matter of fact, utilize them so much, they have these rubber caps on here. The metal is poked through on both the caps, so the caps are probably no longer good. I'll have to replace the rubber caps, but I utilize these. You can buy a good pair for 30 bucks, 20 bucks. I've even seen some for like $14, or they probably get a lot more expensive. You've got to have these. It'll save your life and you won't regret it. So next, what we have. I took a knockoff Romali, kind of like a GoPro, but not quite. It's kind of like a poor man's version of a GoPro. I took the case with me. I didn't need this case, I don't think. I just needed the actual camera because it had a pretty decent battery in it. So this was extra weight. I'm guessing this is probably half a pound. Not needed, just the camera. So food for thought. I had this I had a liter bottle of water, and I had this on my belt, and this was hanging by my side, maybe something like that to hold on to your water. But once again, extra weight, although it's probably only an ounce. But you know, those ounces add up. So question mark on something like that to hold your water or hold your additional water. Talking about the Romali camera. Now, I haven't downloaded anything I took with this. I probably took, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes or less of actual video on this. We'll see how this turns out. It was the first time I've ever used this, so right now it's kind of a question mark for me. But I took this. I would probably take something like this again, although it feels like it's maybe 4 or 5 ounces, 6 ounces. Something to videotape and whatnot, it's well worth having with you. So this is definitely going to be a yes for future excursions. Advil, a little tin of Advil. I think I only took 2 going up there. Maybe when I headed back down, I took 2 more. I can't remember. Advil, Motrin, Tylenol, something like that. Have that with you. You just don't know. Definitely. What else do we have? I actually took some mace pepper spray. This is a secondary tube. No, I'm not going to take this again, although I'll take my primary pepper spray. I'll run across that. The light, we actually used light, I think when we got to this, the parking area, it was still dark out. Had to use the light to find the trailhead and look around at some posted signs for reading or whatnot, but had this just in case. Didn't utilize it on the trail, but if it would have taken longer, you want to have a light source with you with fresh batteries. Absolutely. Whether or not you use it or not does make a difference. You could never make it down the trail if it got dark on you, safely that is. There are times, even in broad daylight, where stepped on something and slid. So it is dangerous out there to a certain degree. What else we have? I had a couple knee wraps. This particular knee wrap I did not use. I used another one, but I would definitely say if you have any type of knee issues or whatnot, bring one for both your knees and legs for additional support. This doesn't weigh much, so absolutely. Makes no sense not to do it. I probably should have put it on too. What else here? Oh, how about this? Knife. Useless. At least on something like this trail, it was just additional weight that served no purpose whatsoever. Live and learn. It doesn't weigh a lot, but I don't know. One of these knucklehead things. What would I do with this? Fend off a grizzly bear? Actually, they reference mountain lions out there, but what would you do? Fend off a mountain lion with this? No. And the people were really nice. Didn't run across anybody that would seem like a knucklehead. So there we go on that. This is a little selfie stick for the Romali camera. I didn't use that once. Maybe take it with you or not. It doesn't weigh much, but if you're going to take something like this with you with your GoPro or whatnot, utilize it. I mean, otherwise you're just carrying additional weight. What else do we have in this section? All right, in this section, looks like that's it of the backpack. This is a little tear thing for some of the food. I took a package of beef jerky, I think 11 ounces. I only ate probably 2 or 3 pieces of the beef jerky. So a majority of the weight of the food of that particular bag, I carried up and I had with me when I got back down. So, and let me go to the next part. I had a full bag of trail mix, which was, I didn't open up at all. And that was probably easily a pound of weight. So I'm carrying an additional pound of something that I didn't utilize. Too much food, especially for that trail. I mean, if you're hiking across the Appalachian, you probably need as much food as possible because you're going to be eating a few times. But on something like this, you really want a couple things to snack on. I saw there were quite a few people up at the summit when we were there. A lot of them broke open. They had little plastic bags with like ham and cheese sandwiches, peanut butter sandwiches, stuff like that. That might be the way to go for at least your summit meal, and maybe something minor to eat or snack on along the way. But 2 big bags of beef jerky and trail mix, it was a lot of it. The weight is what really killed me, the extra weight that I was carrying. So if you're going to be doing this, be cognizant of what food you're bringing. Sure, bring some food, but and some snacks, but you don't have to go overkill. Because I tell you what, most people when they're hiking like that, I'm just guessing, are dehydration or hydration or hydrating your body. So your body's be craving fluids more than it's be craving food. So you can probably get away with less food, more fluids. So be aware of that, which I shouldn't have to say. You should already know that. This was we got there before the visitor center opened up. So there's a little tear thing and a drop box that you can put your fee in, tear it off, put the money, and fill out your information on the envelope, put it into the drop box, the lock box, and then you put this on your windshield. So this is what this is. So if you do get there before the park visitor shop opens up, you're able to do the trail and pay the fee and not worry about getting a ticket or a fine or any of that other nonsense by doing this. That's what this piece of paper is. All right, let's go to the next section of my bag and see what we have in here. Some netting. You know, I didn't run across for insects. The only insects that I ran across were, it seemed like, I want to say regular flies, like blow flies, like, you know, the bigger horse flies, that type of thing. And I ran across a little bit of those when I was heading back down. A couple times, like one flew into my ear. They were around, but really flies were, at least on my height, were not an issue. So even though this doesn't weigh much, I might like forego carrying this with me. I didn't need to bring it out of the box that it came in. So something to think about. What do we have here? I brought little packs of instant coffee. Never even considered that. So I don't know. That I might bring with me, or I might not carry the whole box. I might just carry 2 or 3 of the actual individual packets with me. I mean, that would be sufficient. What else we have? This is the bigger thing of mace, pepper spray, saber. I would probably still carry this. Who knows? It's better to have it with you and not use it than use it. I guess if you had a situation with an animal attack or a person attack, something like this would be, you know, give you some distance. Even with a snake, I guess. If you had a snake that all of a sudden you stepped a foot away and it was giving you a signal that's a strike, something like this, you could actually, you know, squirt at it. I don't know if it would still strike or if it, you know, if this would deter it and it would move on, but, you know, I would probably on any trip still carry this. This is big enough to be effective towards quite a few potential issues that you might run across. I don't know if the container hit or miss on that. So anyways, food for thought, that's just me. I took 2 rolls, the center part of the toilet paper, and I also took some trash bags. I would still highly recommend doing that because even if you use the restroom or whatnot beforehand, you don't know if you're taking any type of electrolytes or supplement things that you put in your water to give you more energy boost, how it's going to affect your system. You could be all the way up to the top, take something and it just goes right through you. It's better to have something like this with you with the trash bag because you're supposed to haul everything back down if you're being 100%, you know, cognizant of other, you know, the forest, the trails, other people, sanitation, that type of thing. Certainly you want to bring toilet paper and at least 1 or 2 garbage bags with you. There's that. Let's see here. Boom. Had another knee brace wrap. I didn't, if you already have 2 that actually go around, I don't know if I would need to carry something like this again. Probably leave this behind. I think we're getting pretty close to the last compartment. Had a poncho. It didn't rain. I guess a poncho might be, it doesn't weigh much, just because of a rainy situation, might as well carry that with you. This is one of those water tablet things that I did consume 1 of these into water. I would probably carry this again. Why not? It didn't taste half bad either, although I was so parched, I probably would have drank, you know, the old John Wayne movie where they're drinking water from a hoof print. You know, So anyways, probably take something like that. What else do we have? I have another thing of aspirin, and I have a emergency blanket. They don't weigh much. I'd probably keep those in my bag. I have rope cordage that I showed in my prior one that's still in here. I wrapped it up. I don't know. I might probably keep that in the bag also. Gatorade bottle that I drank on the way up. This turned out to be pretty important too. Sunscreen. You want to get your sunscreen on your arms, any exposed thing. The area that I missed out on is the back of my neck and in my shoulders, my trapezoids. You want to make sure you put this on everything that the sun's hitting. I got sunburnt back in this area. Every place else that I put it on, it was great. Utilize your sunscreen, 100 SPF or whatnot, whatever you have, and don't forget certain areas. And also, even your face, your forehead or whatnot. The other thing I noticed coming back down is I felt like my lips were getting chapped. I didn't bring any chapstick, but then again, I ran out of water, so I was pretty dehydrated, and also cotton mouth and everything else, so that could have affected the chapped lips or whatnot. So chapstick might be another thing you want to bring with you when you're doing something like this. What else? I had some bug spray, never utilized that, but I had it in my bag. I'd probably still carry that with me. And I think that's everything that came out of my bag, at least that I brought back. This is, I believe, what they call an Alice pack. Way too heavy. I mean, I think this is 5 to 10 pounds by itself right now. Oh my, do not overburden yourself with something that weighs that much, especially in a backpack. This was terrible. Also, the straps, make sure that you got the weight dispersed and the straps are correct, because they were pulling on one side of my body the whole time coming back down. It was excruciating. I had to keep readjusting it to get the weight redispersed. So be aware of what your backpack's doing. All the serious people up there, you want to have a camel pack. I've got a camel pack, camel bag, whatever it is. That's a great way to carry water with you. Utilize one of those, but don't, I would say, get a better bag than this. This bag's just not made for doing summiting. Not in my opinion. I could be wrong, and you could have a different view on this. I think the bag in itself is cool, but pardon me, it almost killed me. I mean, the additional weight. It was just bad. I'll go on to one other thing. When you're getting ready to do these hikes and they talk about water, and they talk about recommended amounts of water, if you have knee problems, feet problems, if you have ankle problems, if you're overweight, if you're sedentary in your lifestyle, if you're over 50, whatever they say for recommended water, bring probably a liter more. I ran out of water shortly after summiting, so I had to come all the way back down Guadalupe Peak without water. It was excruciating. I took 2.5 liters of water, and that was not enough. If I were to ever try to summit this again, water-wise, I'd probably go with 4 liters of water. Even though, the cool thing about the water is you start out with all this water weight, but as you consume it, it becomes less and less and less. But you do not want to be up there and run out of water. I'll give you a few things that happened to me, which I find somewhat interesting. Charley horses and cramps in both legs. I mean, a few times they were just excruciating. Well, even when I sat down with whatever remote areas of shade there were to try to catch my breath and rest, it was bad, and that due to dehydration. I'll tell you another thing that I thought was kind of interesting. When I got to where I could see the parking lot from the top of the hill in front of the parking lot, there's there was 11 switchbacks. I believe that's what the count was. And when I went down, I counted them as I was going. As I started doing the switchbacks, I typically go one switchback and stop. I got to the point where I was hallucinating a little bit. And it's funny, the hallucination that I was having is looking further down, I saw a couple people, and it looked like they were looking at plant life or geology or something they were doing, looking off the trail or whatnot. And my thought process is when I got to them, I'd ask them if they had any extra water or 8 ounces of extra water. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. All right, when I get to them or they come to me, I'm gonna ask for if they have any water to spare. So they ultimately never got to me, and when I got down to where they were, nowhere to be found. And it was vivid. So I don't think I've ever experienced something like that before, but dehydration, and when you're out in the sun, can be very serious. So take more fluids than you think you're gonna need, or than if you think you're gonna need X, take X plus a little bit more, because I guarantee you will not regret it. But if you run out of water and there isn't any other water to be had from other hikers or whoever you're hiking with or whatnot, you're going to have a problem, because both myself and my son, we both ran out of water. We both basically hiked most of the trail from the summit back waterless. It was miserable. I mean, we did it, but it was every step, every breath. And when we got back to the vehicle, it was just, whoa. So, water, water, water. This is Eric Sturm. This is my first endeavor of doing any type of wilderness adventure, hiking or whatnot. Please leave a like, a share, a subscribe. Any comments would be great. I'm based out of Houston, Texas, so I'm already considering where I want to go next, because I typically plan things out way in advance. If you have any ideas on this, my next, what I'm really leaning towards is doing Wheeler Peak in New Mexico. I've been watching the videos on that. That place looks beautiful. Elevation gets a lot higher there, so it remains to be seen, but that's what I'm kind of leaning towards for my next one. Ultimately, I want to end up being able to do and doing Mount Rainier. That's my goal. Mount Rainier. That's my big bucket list item. This was like a stepping stone bucket list item. Mount Rainier is what my bucket list item is. So anyways, wish me luck. Appreciate you viewing, and I hope this video, I didn't ramble on too much. May have forgotten a few things, but anyways, God bless and have a good day.